guys, welcome back to another blue and yellow video. My name's Bea, just in case you've never seen my face before or you've forgotten my name because it's been so long since we've seen each other at Soul Kids at church, but I hope you've been having a really great week. I'm going to start by telling you a really cool fact about the month of May. So, last month you might think that was quite a sunny month. In fact, May was the sunniest month on UK record. So like since records began, May was the sunniest month, which I think is pretty cool. So hoping for more sunshine and that you had lots of fun in the sun. I don't know if some of you guys have gone back to school potentially in the last week, but I hope you found that okay. That's probably a really weird thing to be going back after so long. Or maybe if you're still at home, if your year's not gone back, then I hope you're still managing to enjoy some schoolwork at home by getting lots of fun. So before we begin, and I'm going to give the thought today, we're going to hear from Alice, who is leading our game. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
We are going to be playing charades, or charades, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know how to play, I'm going to act out either the title of a film, a TV show, or a book. And you guys have got to guess what it is. So I will start with doing this action if it's going to be a film, this like a TV screen if it's going to be a TV show, or a book action if it's from a book. Then I'll say how many words the title is, how many words is in the title. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. Then I might say second word if I was about to act that one out. I'm not great at acting, but you guys I know are going to be great at guessing. So just try your best and let's see how we do. Okay, the first one. Okay, does anybody work that out? I'll give you a couple more seconds, that one was quite easy. It was The Lion King. Lion King. Great, okay, let's try one that might be a bit harder, but I'll do my best. This is and. Okay, did anybody guess that? It was Harry Potter, a book and a film, and I had a scar, riding his broomstick and doing magic. Great, okay, let's try another one. You might not be able to see my legs. Okay, try to do some actions there. If anybody got that, that was really good. The answer is the next step. First word the, second word next, third word step. I don't know if anybody of you watched that show, but I think it's great. Okay, we're going to finish with one more. This one is a Okay, I'm sure you might have been able to guess that one. It had two words, so it wasn't Frozen, it was Frozen 2, if any of you saw that last year. Okay, thank you all for playing the game with me today, and well done if you got any of those answers right from my acting skills, and have a great morning.
Thanks so much, Alice. I hope you guys found that fun. So today we are looking at something that's going on in the world right now. We looked at worship last month, and for the rest of the month we're going to be looking at the life of Jesus. You might have seen on the news, if your parents or guardians watch the news with you around, sometimes the news can be so boring, but that there are people all across the world. So in our town, if you live in Watford, or cities across the UK and around the world, people are standing up and speaking up against an injustice that they see. God created the whole world. We believe that, don't we, as Christians? And he loves everyone in it. But for as far back as we can remember and we can see, people have treated people badly and wrongly. And sadly, although so much has improved and got better, we do still live in a world where people treat people wrongly. So I don't know if you have heard of two people that we're going to talk about today. The first is Martin Luther King Jr. And he was alive during a time where black people especially were treated horrifically. They were asked to sit at certain tables. They were segregated from people who were white. They weren't given opportunities. Black people weren't offered jobs just because of their skin colour. And Martin Luther King Jr. led a movement of people that stood up and said, this isn't just, this isn't right, and it's not how the world should be, and it's not how God would want it. And just before Martin Luther King started leading this movement of people, there was a lady called Rosa Parks, and you might have been taught about her at school, but she was a really brave woman. And she was riding on the bus home from work one day, and she was sat in her seat, and the bus driver said to her, give up your seat, a white person should sit in it. And she said no, she wouldn't give up her seat. And at that time, if a black person was told to give up their seat, that's what they did. And awfully, that was the world that she lived in. So by saying no, she knew that there would be anger against her, that she could get in trouble, and she was arrested for not giving up her seat. Rosa's courage sparked thousands of people to stand with her and say, it's not right. And during that time, people who were white thought that they were better or deserved things that black people didn't, and it is so wrong and not right. And Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks and thousands of other voices stood up and said, don't believe that that's how God created things. And after protests and a long time, they did see change happen. Amazingly, they did. But sometimes in the world today, really sadly, that's still a fact that loads of people who are black or brown still live with today. And we want to say, as Soul Kids, we believe that everyone is of value, that no matter what your skin colour, God loves you and chooses you. And we just want to stand against, we want to add our voice to all the voices that are currently saying again, hey, this isn't right, this isn't just. And it's an injustice in the world that we want to stand against and speak up about. So, injustice is a really big word, and we don't often use it a lot at Soul Kids. An injustice is something that is happening to a person or a group of people that isn't right. So, for Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, they saw the injustice that black people were being treated wrongly, and they stood up against it. And in the Bible, we see Jesus stand up against injustices wherever he came across them. So for some people in Jesus' time, if they were from a certain place or a city, the people around Jesus judged them for that, didn't want to hang out with them, didn't want to walk near them. And Jesus consistently, when he saw an injustice, spoke up against it. Also in that time, women were thought of as lesser. They thought, oh, you can't learn anything, don't do any, you can't learn anything from Jesus. And as we've looked at this in Soul Kids, Jesus stood against that and he taught women, which empowered them. And we want to be like Jesus, don't we? We want to be people that when we spot something that's not right, we say, hey, that's not just, and we want to bring justice. There's a story in the Bible about a man who was called by God. His name was Moses. He did not look like me, he was brown-skinned, and God called him and said, my people, so God's people, are trapped in a place in Egypt, and I want you to go and bring them to freedom. And Moses, he grew up in Pharaoh's house, so he had a kind of privilege, because Pharaoh knew who he was listened to. Moses went and spoke up on behalf of God's people and Moses' people to say, let them go and let us leave. And Moses, he knew that he had that position, that his voice was listened to because he grew up in Pharaoh's house. And so many people that face injustice, their voices aren't often listened to. And where we can, if our voices are listened to, it's important to speak, just like Moses did. Moses had a voice that was listened to, but thousands of people, the people that Moses was trying to free alongside God, their voices weren't listened to. And that's a story that can teach us so much about how important it is when our voice can be heard to use it. So as Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King lived about 60 years ago, and Moses lived a lot longer ago than that, like thousands of years ago, it's hard to think, and we probably don't want to think, that injustices like that can still happen today, but they sadly do and are happening. And people who look like me, who have white skin, will never fully understand the struggle of people who have black skin or brown skin have with people treating them differently just because of that. But we want to, if you're white and you look like me, we want to be people who listen, who first listen to the struggles that we will probably never have. And we want to listen to the people who are struggling and who find that those realities in their day-to-day lives. And we want to do that because we want to be like Jesus, who calls us to stand up for things that aren't just and bring about justice wherever we see injustice and wherever we see people hurting and suffering. So I thought we could look at just like a few ways in which we can be people who bring about justice. Perhaps one way is to first sit, and I know this is important for me and probably for you, just sit and just listen to stories or just listen to God about how injustices in the world are still happening. And let's try and open our eyes to the things that are happening that maybe we didn't really even notice. And then when we've listened and when we've learned, hopefully we will be brave and have the courage of Rosa Parks to say, no, this isn't right, this isn't just, and we don't agree with it. We want a world to look like how God intended it, which is that everyone is treated equally and not treated badly just because of their skin colour. Just in case we've never said it and you've wondered, if you have black skin, you are so welcome. You are wanted as part of Soul Kids. We love you and you're special to God. And if you have brown skin, we love you. We want you. You are special to God. And if you have white skin or any skin colour in between, you are wanted and loved by God and us. We want to be a group of people that when we see something, maybe in school or anywhere around, that means our friends who are black or brown or anyone of colour is treated badly, we stand up and say, no, we don't want to live in a world like that. And that's currently what's happening in the world. Thousands of people are speaking up and saying that, which is amazing and so good. And we just want to join in with that and learn about that. And it's not something that we just stand up and say once. It's something that it's how we live, and it's that we live a bit different. We live braver. We live, with the heart and the desire to stand up for stuff that we believe in. I don't know if there are some of you that have experienced what I've been talking about. Maybe someone says something to you because of the colour of your skin and it's made you feel not wanted or not loved. And firstly, I'm sorry if you've ever experienced that. And I'd just encourage you to just think about it and maybe give it to God and ask that He would speak to you about it. And if you've never experienced that, why don't you ask God to help you see? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be asking God to help me see. Look, God, help me learn, help me listen. That we might become kids and adults who just change the world around us. And it's exciting that we're able to do that together. So, I hope that's okay. I know it's a bit of a heavy topic, but it's really important that we learn about this stuff and that we become more like Jesus. So, lots of love, guys. I hope you have a really lovely week and can't wait to see you next week.